Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Today we are continuing with the sixth part of Gulliver's Travels. In this video, we will simply read the passage together and understand it in easy English. I will explain the vocabulary from this passage in the next video. So without any further delay, let's begin. Belfusco lay about 800 yards off the northeast coast of Lilliput. At its deepest, the channel was about 6 feet deep. I walked to the northeast and, laying behind a hillock, viewed the opposing navy with my eyeglass. It was at least in a bay. Belfusco was situated about 800 yards away from the northeastern coast of Lilliput. The channel of water between them was about 6 feet deep. At its deepest point, I walked towards the northeast and hid behind a small hill. From there, I watched the enemy navy through my telescope. There were about 50 men of war and many transport ships. I returned to my home and gave orders for some cable and iron bars. I bent the bars and attached them to the cables, giving me 50 hooks or so. I then went to the coast and, stripping off, walked and swam to the Belfusco fleet. Gulliver saw the Belfusco fleet resting in a bay without about 50 warships and many transport ships. He returned home and prepared cables with iron hooks attached to them. Then he went to the coast, removed his clothes, and walked and swam through the water towards the Belfusco fleet. The sight of me terrified the natives, and they leaped out of their ships and swam to the beach. I calmly attached a hook and cable to the prow of each ship. While the natives shot arrows at my face and hands, I remembered my glasses and put these on to protect my eyes. The sight of Gulliver frightened the people on the ships, so they quickly jumped out of their ships and swam towards the beach. Gulliver calmly attached a hook and a cable to the front of each ship. While the people were shooting arrows at his face and hands, he remembered that he had his glasses with him. He put on his glasses to protect his eyes from the arrows. Gulliver frightened the people on the ships. They escaped by swimming to the shore, while Gulliver calmly attached hooks and cables to their ships. When they attacked him with arrows, he protected his eyes by putting on his glasses. The Belfuscodians did not know what I was up to until I began to pull the ships away behind me. They then began to scream and cry out and continued to fire their arrows. The Belfuscodians did not understand what Gulliver was trying to do until he started pulling their ships away behind him. When they realized what was happening, they began to scream and shout loudly. They continued firing arrows at Gulliver. The Belfuscodians only realized Gulliver's plan when he began dragging their ships away. They became frightened and started shouting and continued shooting arrows at him. Right? The king and his whole court stood on the shore and could see the ships moving toward them, but initially could not see me, and so feared that the whole mission had gone wrong and that the fleet was now attacking. But as I passed through to the shallow part, I could be seen, and cheering began. The king was so delighted, he made me a nardac on the spot, which is a very high honor. The king and all the important people in his court were standing on the shore. They could see the ships moving towards them, but at first they could not see Gulliver, so they became worried and thought that something had gone wrong with his plan and that the fleet was not being brought towards them. But when Gulliver reached the shallow part of the water, the people could see him and they started cheering loudly. The king was extremely happy with Gulliver's success. He immediately gave Gulliver the title Nardak, which was a very high honor in Lilliput. Okay, Gulliver successfully pulled the enemy fleet towards Lilliput. At first, the king was worried because he couldn't see Gulliver, but when Gulliver appeared, everyone celebrated. The king was so pleased that he immediately honored Gulliver with the title Nardak, on the highest honors in Lilliput. The king immediately ordered me to return and bring the remaining ships so that he could eventually make the island into a province of Lilliput and be the one king. But I protested, saying that I would not be used to bring free people into slavery. It turned out that most of the council agreed with me, but the king never forgave me for upsetting a great royal plan, even though I had done him a great service. The king immediately ordered Gulliver to go back and bring the remaining ships. His plan was to conquer Blefuscu and make the island province of Lilliput so that he could become the only ruler. But Gulliver refused. He said that he wouldn't help the king enslave free people. Later, Gulliver discovered that most members of the king's council agreed with him. However, the king never forgave Gulliver for refusing to support his ambitious plan, even though Gulliver had already done a great service for him. The king wanted Gulliver to help him conquer Blefuscu and make its people slaves. Gulliver refused because he did not want to take away the freedom of innocent people. Although most of the council supported Gulliver's decision, the king became angry and never truly forgave him for refusing to carry out his plan. 3 weeks later, an envoy arrived from Blefuscu with offers of peace. These were very advantageous to our king. I met the envoy and begged them to give my best wishes to their emperor and that I would try to visit his court before I returned to my own country. 3 weeks later, an envoy came from Blefuscu with a proposal for peace. The proposal was very beneficial for the king of Lilliput. Gulliver met the envoys and politely asked them to give his best wishes to their emperor. He also said that he would try to visit the emperor's royal court before returning to his own country. On my next meeting with the king, I asked permission to meet the Blefuscudian emperor and this was very coldly given. I was beginning to have some inkling of how the court and ministers thought. When Gulliver met the king again, he asked for permission to visit the emperor of Blefuscu. The king reluctantly gave him permission. Gulliver was beginning to understand that the king and his ministers were not very happy with him and that there were political thoughts and feelings behind their behavior. That's all for today's reading. I hope you enjoyed this part of Gulliver's Travels. In the next video, I will explain the important word meanings from this passage. After that, we will continue with part 7. So stay connected and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Hare Krishna to my dear friends.